Let's talk to Ryan Sabey, though, Deputy Police Officer at The Sun. Ryan, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
We're sort of picking a bit on Pat McFadden this morning because it seems to me there's a few more important things going on in the world than worrying about a fake alert on the 7th of September that he seems to be trying to sell us. And as you can see from many of our members of the audience, they're a bit more concerned about what's going on in the Channel, a bit more concerned about how many migrants are coming in, and a bit more concerned about when the alert's going to go off for that.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think Pat McFadden setting out his stall on this national alert system well in advance to warn people. And I think that this government just feels like it's one of those things it has to do. And almost like if you run a public service, run a school, run a hospital, you have to do some kind of risk assessment. And this is part of a big national risk assessment. Some people will say it's going too far, but if there is a national emergency, I guess people will be complaining and moaning at the government if people could be alerted and they are not alerted in time. So I feel like it's a little bit of a tick box exercise, but you never know when it may come in handy.
Well, that's right. I mean, the thing is that, you know, there is an emergency in this country. A lot of people say they should be calling it a national emergency, and I think Nigel Farage has done that already. But the numbers coming over reaching epic proportions. We're nearly up to 45,000 in the year since Labour government got in July the 4th of last year. Supposedly, the migrant deal is going to be high on the agenda for Macron and Starmer, but does anybody really believe they'll come to any kind of arrangement that will make any difference?
It seems that this deal, this one-in, one-out deal that could be struck with France this week, seems to be in a little bit of a sticky place. Let's see what happens. These things often go down to the wire, and negotiations will be carrying on over the next 48 hours. That big political day will happen on Thursday, so we can expect lots of pomp, lots of pageantry before that, and a state banquet. But it's that moment on Thursday where Westminster will be training its eyes on and what kind of arrangements Great Britain and France can come up with, and migrants will be top of that agenda. Sir Keir, I remember being at the G7 not that long ago, and Keir actually laying it down on the line to Emmanuel Macron to say, this is of the utmost importance, and almost saying you've got to get your acting gear because the UK is paying France a hell of a lot of money, the best part, £750 million over the last few years, and it doesn't seem that much is being done on their side.
Well, as Peter Blexley called it this morning, the world's most expensive Stanley knife, isn't it? Which is the thing they used to puncture one dinghy, just a few days ago. If they did that every single day, maybe it might be worth the money.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think we've seen, there's some figures around this morning that in Belgium, they've actually reduced the number of crossings by about 90% because they do intercept them. Now, I know that's a different situation to France, but it does seem that more stringent tactics should be used, because we're just seeing the numbers, they have been out of control for a long time. We had those first crossings in about 2018. And every single year, they seem to be getting higher and higher. And this time, compared to this time last year, we seem to be up by about 40-odd%, which just shows you that effectively the whole situation is out of control. 20,000 this year. Yeah. And that is why, as well as defence, security, technology, that will be the issues that the Prime Minister will be talking to with France this week. Illegal migration will be top of his agenda because he has to get a handle on it.
Yeah, he really does. And I mean, otherwise, elsewhere in the economy, we've got problems all over the place. You know, Rachel Reeves is due to make a speech, I think, a Mansion House speech next week. She's being warned by people in the Building Society business, Yorkshire Building Society nationwide. They're saying that if she does this expected move, which is to cut the ISA amount that you can put in tax-free, which is 20,000 currently, down to 4,000, it will restrict growth. It will kill growth, in fact. So they're hopeful that she won't do it. But she's under still immense pressure. I was just saying to James Hill in the last hour, last week's events, of her bursting into tears and then suddenly being all smiles on Thursday, it's all kind of moved off the agenda, hasn't it? Nobody's really talking about it now.
Yeah, but the economy will be front and centre obviously of where she of a very, very busy summer. She is going to have to grapple with finding billions and billions of pounds. Now she says those fiscal rules are ironclad, so the extra borrowing is out of the window. It seems like all those Whitehall departments cannot cut any more spending. It seems like they are cut to the absolute bone. So one of the few things that she can really do is raise taxes. It seems like it's the only avenue for her to go down. And as you say, that one of the issues on the agenda is cutting that tax-free allowance when it comes to ISAs, and the building societies are kicking off because they use that money to actually access a lot of money, which keeps mortgage costs down. So they feel that if that policy is implemented, it'll actually push up people's mortgage costs. But there's lots of talk about the wealth tax. It seems like Whitehall are very keen to play that down, but Downing Street weren't totally ruling that out yesterday. So there's a lot of money to be found, but there's not many avenues to actually raise the cash, because the big money raisers, income tax, national insurance, VAT, they have been ruled out. They were in that Labour manifesto last year, and at the moment she can't touch those. And if she does, she'd have broken one of those Labour manifesto pledges.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at a figure here. £49.8 billion was the amount that British savers put into cash ISAs last year, which was up 6% on the previous year. And if you cut that down by, say, a fifth and say to people, oh, you can only put £4,000 in now, suddenly they've only got 10 billion instead of 49. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know anyone. And she supposedly thinks that this will be a catalyst for people to put more money into the stock market. And I don't know any financial advisor who says that will happen. They say it won't happen.
Yeah, I expect, and speaking to people in and around government, that tax-free allowance, that it looks like it's on the cards that there will be a cut from 20,000, but I feel like it won't go down to as low as 5. But it certainly is on the table as something they're looking at to raise money. But you have to offset every single decision. As a balance on the other side, and it looks like the mortgage rates could go up, and those warning sounds have been sounded by the likes of Yorkshire Building Society, Coventry, Skipton, and all the others. I'm sure will be saying, look, just hold off. If you have to do it, just don't be as drastic.
And the big problem that's going to continue to come up, notwithstanding the welfare bill last week and the defeat that Starmer had to kind of suffer in the House of Commons, people are getting more and more fed up. Certainly our listeners and viewers are getting more and more fed up with people claiming for things that they shouldn't be claiming for people getting money from the benefit system they shouldn't be getting, and also these new ridiculous ailments that are being produced for people to get Motability cars. All of these stories are feeding into a system which is going to make ordinary people who work for a living and who pay tax and who strive every single day get more and more fed up with this government.
Yeah, I think there's a general sense of unfairness, as you say, people who are going out to work every day to provide for their families, and they do see, particularly in the case of Motability, where they see that people using some of their benefit money, or some of that money is going towards a flash new car. And it really, really riles people. And I think some people feel like that system has just got totally out of control. There's absolutely no issue with people who do genuinely need these cars. But I think sometimes it's been found that relatives may have been using these cars, or may be able to have use of it. And for that reason, flying around in a flash new BMW or whatever car it may well be just doesn't seem that is playing by the rules. So I think that's where there's that sense of unfairness, and I think that's one thing that the government has to iron out.
Yeah, and we haven't had one of these for a while, so I thought I might as well ask you about it. Sean Woodcock claimed on his parliamentary expenses for 2 duvets, a pair of pillows and a set of brushed cotton bed sheets from Marks & Spencer's. He also bought 4 luxury Egyptian cotton towels along with a tube of Magnolia shower cream, according to details obtained by the Daily Mail. We used to have one of these every couple of days, didn't we? £216 worth of luxury Marks & Spencer's bedding, he's claimed. He's a newly elected MP. He said he was misinformed.
Yeah, no, he seems to say that he was told by a colleague. I mean, you kind of read the rules before you go and purchase this, but I don't understand why. I mean, sometimes I think you look at you go into Marks and Spencer's or wherever, and you're going to put some expensive duvet on your expenses. You just don't. It just doesn't pass the smell test. So I think he should have been wiser to this and just paid for it out of his own pocket, and certainly not expected the taxpayer to pay for it. And quite rightly, he's paid it all back.
Well, thank goodness. Thank goodness they've changed the rules on all of this. There's a couple of other ones which have come in as well. Under rejected expenses include a claim submitted by Labour MP Jill Furness for £210 worth of IKEA furniture, including a gaming desk and an office chair, so a member of her team could work from home. Marvellous, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. More importantly, they should be coming into the office to actually collaborate with their colleagues, maybe. But it does seem like a lot of money is still being spent on this, and they probably need to tighten that up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of breaking news just before we let you go, Ryan. You'll be probably writing about this today. Norman Tebbit, one of Margaret Thatcher's most loyal supporters during her years of power, has died at the age of 94. A remarkable man, Norman Tebbit, wasn't he? He was terribly badly injured in the Brighton bombing. His wife was, I think, wheelchair bound as a result of them both being blown up and falling through the floor in that terrible IRA bombing. Also, he was kind of he was her kind of enforcer, wasn't he, Margaret Thatcher's? He was known as the skinhead.
Yeah, no, exactly, and it all go back to those scenes and those events around Brighton at that Tory Party conference in the 1980s, and the effect that had on both him and his wife. And I'd spoken to Lord Tebbit many times. He'd written for us over the years, and as you say, he was a kind of Mr. Fix-It for Mrs. Thatcher. Our thoughts are with his family.
Yeah, absolutely, they will be. Norman Tebbit dies today at the age of 94. Ryan Sabey, great to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. Deputy Political Editor at The Sun.